So hello and welcome back to my channel Inspiring Life Changes. This is part 2 of my new moon in Scorpio video. I don't know why, but for some reason it just cut out earlier, and I've spent the last hour, maybe a bit more, trying to actually upload it and make sure that it actually works okay. So I'm now back and I'm going to carry on more or less where I left off, and I was talking about this card here and saying how it was to do with us sustaining ourselves. And during the process of what was going on, I got this message come through that this is about new ways of using money, that something different is going to happen. We are going to have to get used to something different to what we're used to now, that this will be a new incoming energy for us. And it's to do with this and the paths that we have yet to tread, which was the message that I got from this card earlier. And this is the message that goes, these two together are kind of saying. And I think this card here as well is also kind of saying that there's going to be a need for us to be more open with our kind of, instead of like trying to keep it to ourselves and be much more like possessive about it. We're going to have to learn how to kind of, you know, treat it with respect a lot more and view it more as an energy, as a tool, as something that we can all benefit from. And that's what I think these two cards together are saying for me, that this is a changing time. We are in a changing time. The new moon today and tomorrow really kind of speaks to me of this kind of build up to what is coming in the early part of 2020 in January, when Saturn and Pluto come together, and how things are going to change hugely at that point. So the next card that I'm going to bring out for you here is in a placement of normally how other people see a situation, but because this is a collective read, I'm going to read this as a collective card for how we are all viewing each other at the moment. And it speaks to me very much of a time of needing healing and learning to love ourselves again, needing to feel that we are safe, secure and protected, which on some level we're not feeling, because we're going to be going through this kind of energy over the next 6 weeks or so. It's going to be some quite kind of emotional upheaval, and during that emotional upheaval it will, I feel eventually it will lead us to more of this energy, which is a gentle, softer, loving page, because it's a page of cups, it's emotions. This is your Cancers, again Cancerians, sorry, Scorpios and Pisces type energy, the sensitive souls, the intuitive souls, those who are very, very in tune with their feelings. And I think this is where we are kind of having to lead ourselves to, is kind of an awareness of all of us together as we move forward into this more kind of Aquarian type of energy. This is where this is going to become very important, I feel, very important for the human race in general, to realise that we have to all love on some level each other as equals really. And that's what I feel that this card is trying to say here. And the card that is in the space of hopes and fears is the Sun. But unfortunately, it's reversed. And I feel with this card being in hopes and fears, because it's just, when I say just, I don't mean kind of that it's not relevant, because I think that hopes and fears are absolutely relevant, as in they can lead us to creating. We can create our hopes or we can create our fears, all depending on how we're really feeling in the situation from moment to moment. It's all about our feelings and our emotions. But this card, in some ways, I get the feeling that this is kind of saying, like, where is the light? Where's the light gone? Where's the sunshine? Where's the warmth? Where's the happiness? Where's the joy? Where's the feelings of everything's okay? Because with this card as our challenge, what we're needing to go through, there is going to be a lot of kind of deep, dark energy that is going to keep us in the dark. With the moon down here as well, we are going to be kept in the dark without all the information that we need, without all the... Because I tend to liken this card, if it's up this way, I tend to liken it a bit like having been stumbling around in a dark room for a long time and suddenly realising that there was a light switch there all along. And you turn the light switch on and everything just becomes kind of illuminated, and you suddenly realise that you can now see the situation. You no longer have to stumble about and bash into the things that are in the room. But because it's reversed, it kind of shows me that they're collectively, in our hopes and our fears, we are kind of all hoping on some level we are all going to break through to that light, that brightness on the other side of this darker kind of period of time. And we are coming into winter as well, so there is kind of this element of not only being in the subconscious realm and the darkness and the unknown, but also the kind of, you know, that's going to be reflected outwardly as well in the fact that the seasons are going to be very dark and it's going to be very winter time. So I think that's also going to play a big part as well in how we kind of stay kind of in this situation of just feeling that, you know, this is where we want to be. We want to be out here, but we're having to go through this in order to be able to get to this. So at the moment that is a hope and a fear, but it is reversed. So at the moment I think there's a lot of kind of people who aren't seeing the light at all. They're not seeing that there could be a light at the end of the tunnel, or that, you know, there's a light switch on in their room, and everything seems really dark and gloomy and depressing, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of joy out there, or a lot of camaraderie, or, you know, sort of people taking care of each other. Or I think, you know, for the youth of today as well, there seems to be an awful lot of, like, you know, senselessness, and kind of they don't see the point, and it's really not an easy time to be growing up in. And this is kind of reflected in this card here as well, which is the outcome that I have at the moment, the potential outcome, shall we say. If you look here, there's that boat again in the background, which appeared here in the Four of Wands as the journey. The boat for me always represents life, jumping on that boat and letting life take us somewhere where we need to go. And in this card, it's just this kind of feeling of being stuck, nothing's changing, we're not getting anywhere. We just feel this complete sense of, like, was it really worth it? Am I going to get beyond this? Because it's wands, because it's creative energy, we can kind of get, like, I tend to think of it as writer's block, artist's block in some way, that we, you know, we can't see that there could ever be anything else that we could do as good as the thing that we last finished. But it's a 10. It's a 10 of wands. So this is a completion. This is saying that after this, after we've been through this, there will be something else. There will be a breakthrough. There will be changes. There will be new things coming. There will be a new story. So I'm going to put some cards over the top of these cards, and I'm going to use the, like I said, the Gilded deck, which I don't usually use, but I thought it would be a nice time to try something different. Seeing as that's kind of what the feeling of it is for me at the moment, is like change, Uranus, and particularly for me at the moment because I have Uranus in Taurus, as we all do. Uranus is in Taurus, but for me it's over the top of I'm conjuncting my Mercury and my Mars and even my Jupiter as well, so I've got a lot going on astrologically with change, which is possibly also why I'm doing this channel now. Change. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. So I am going to put a card over. I'm just going to check and see how many major arcanas we've got. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcanas out of 10 cards, so it's not speaking hugely of this being a long-term reading, as in events staying as they are long-term. Okay, can I have a card? I almost got one. I'm going to put a card over the top of the Judgment card, please. A card for the Judgment card, please. Some clarity on the Judgment card. A bit more insight. A bit more understanding for the collective new moon in Scorpio. Tarot reading from now until the full moon in 14 days' time. Are there no more messages? No? Oh, yep, there we go. And so over the top of the Judgment card, we have the Three of Wands. And the Three of Wands also has, if you look here, it also has a boat in it as well. And this character here is standing here like looking at this boat coming in. And so with this card here, it's kind of the boat has come in. And this is all about the challenge and taking up the challenge. And this is about kind of taking that risk, waiting for the boat to come in. And waiting for, and knowing that risks have to be taken, that things have to change, that things can't stay the same. And over the top of the Judgment card here, it's kind of saying that this is what the Three of Wands is becoming aware of, is that there needs to be a kind of creative input if things are going to move beyond those, calling those dead up and letting them go, releasing them. That in order to be able to get onto this boat, we have to release our collective past in many ways, our collective history. You know, we have to let it go, not only on a individual level, but also on a collective level. And that one of the major issues with this card is about forgiveness. It's about forgiving the situation. It's about forgiving ourselves and the part that we think we may have played in that situation. It could also be to do with generation as well, like generational, as in forgiving our ancestors who may, you know, we may feel that they are responsible for where we are today. because of the situations that we find ourselves in, and the you know, collectively or on an individual personal level. But this card is also about forgiveness, and because in order to let something go, you have to forgive it first to be able to move beyond it. And the Three of Wands is saying that that is something that, in order to get on that boat that is coming in and change the course of our lives and our history that is coming closer, there needs to be a collective letting go in many ways, which I think is what this whole build up to the 2020 Saturn-Pluto conjunction is about. Because the timing of these planets is amazing. We also have solar eclipses as well that are happening just around Christmas time, and another one just before the conjunction of Saturn and Pluto. So there are some really major shifts going on, major things moving. So I would like a card, please, for the Three of Pentacles and the Eight of Cups, the heart of this reading. Could I have a card, please, for the heart of this reading, our situation and our challenge at this present time, after we go down into the depths of ourselves on the journey, our subconscious journey into the unknown realm, finding ourselves on a deeper inner level. What is the message, please, spirit guides, spirit friends and family? As well as the universe. Universe, what message do you have for us today? What is the message here, universe? I don't know whether you want me to use these cards or not. I might just go back to using the Mythic Tarot. No? Okay. Every time I say no, one comes out. Typical. Oh, we have the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords. The card of nightmares. The card of not being able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. The card of things just seeming to get worse and worse. The card of... I think with this Eight of Cups here and kind of going down into that, this is the realm that we're going to end up in, is this kind of mental anguish of not being able to resolve our situations, or feeling as though we can't resolve our situations, feeling as though everything is unfair, unjust, that we don't deserve in some ways to be in this situation, that it's not, on some level as well, that it's not our problem as well, that kind of something, you know, this is something we're having to resolve it, but this wasn't initially started by us. This wasn't something that we kind of created, shall we say, from our vantage point, from our lifetimes. This is previous, long-lasting, ongoing situations. And the Nine of Swords is saying that collectively there's this kind of emotional, quite a lot of fear around the Nine of Swords as well. So an emotional kind of fear and mental kind of anxiety, stress, tension. Of course, we're also coming up to Christmas as well, where there's a lot of kind of worries over that time of year as well, and kind of sleepless nights for people, and you know, everything, all the things that we do for just one day, and then it's like, you know, it's over, it's gone, it's done, and it's kind of like, you know, really, are we putting ourselves in these situations because we feel obliged to? Is this what this card is saying? That there is on some level this feeling of being obliged, that we have to do this, otherwise we're going against the grain, and all the fears that brings up, and all the anxiety and the stress of not fitting in and not doing the right thing. And so there is an element, I feel, of that in this card as well. As we move closer to the dreaded 25th of December, as the shops fill up, and everywhere you go is reminding you how much joy there is. And you hear the same songs over and over again that you hear every year. I just think there's an element of that in this card here. It's not that I don't like Christmas. I just think it's overrated. Too commercial. Too much stress. Every year, same story. Okay, so the next card I would like to put one on top of is the Page of Cups, please. Spirit guides, spirit friends, spirit family, and the universe, please. Give me a card for the new moon in Scorpio. What is the message here? Is there a message? Do you want to give me a message? Is there a message? The new moon in Scorpio for the collective. 27th and 28th of October. Not quite. New moon message. New moon message, please. You're going to fall out. I'm just going to take you. Oh, I've got two of you. Okay, so the first card we have is the Wheel of Fortune. And that comes out over the top of the Page of Pentacles. And this placement is about, this is about how other people would normally see us, but because it's for the collective, I am just going to say it's how we all kind of see each other at the moment. And the Wheel of Fortune, which has come upright, it's coming out upright, is speaking of a change of events, a change of fortune, that things are going to change, that as the wheel turns, nothing stays the same. Everything changes. It is the one thing that you can be assured of, is that things change eventually. They may take their time, they may be very slow, which with Saturn and Pluto in particular at the moment, they are incredibly slow, and everything that's retrograde at the moment is going to be really slow as well. But this is kind of saying that this is a energy of things changing eventually, bit like clockwork if you look here, and it kind of really does remind me the whole zodiac wheel here as well, and the planets, and like, you know, the springs, and it's clockwork. It's like this is the zodiac clock in the sky, and this kind of determines for us on a bigger or on a lesser scale. But because Saturn and Pluto are such slow moving planets anyway, and they take a long time to come together, they have major effects. But the last time that Saturn and Pluto came together in Capricorn with the South Node there as well, which is all about karma as well. As much as Saturn's about karma, the South Node is also about karma and what we're leaving behind and what we're moving away from. These planets, this conjunction, these planets in Capricorn have not been together since the 1500s. So that is kind of why this is such a huge event, because it's all that history since the 1500s that is going to be kind of changed in a big way, and that we are going to need to take care of each other, take care of ourselves, take care of each other in order to get through this, because it is going to be really big, a really major change of events and major change of course as well in our this card coming out here, a major change of course of where we thought we would be going and where we will be going. And the Two of Pentacles was the second card that came out, which I would also put with over the top of the Page of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune. But I feel somehow that it is linked into this Ace of Pentacles as well, because this is about kind of learning to juggle that change, learning to, and the boat's still out there as well. You can see the boat in the background, and even the moon. I think there's a rainbow there as well. Yeah, there's a rainbow there as well, which is always a good auspicious omen. But this is kind of saying that there is going to be a time where we are going to have to juggle a lot of new experiences, a lot of new energies, especially around money, with Uranus in Taurus, the planet of change and unexpected events, especially around money. Things will change, and we are going to have to learn to know how to juggle things and become more skilled, I think is probably a good term, because the Pentacles is all about skill. It's all about learning how to be skillful in life, whether that's to be able to work for ourselves or work for somebody else, but there is always a kind of element of skill involved. The use of the hands, and because it's very physical card, relates to the earth signs, Taurus, Capricorn and Virgo. With this boat out in the water there again as well, so there's an element of the kind of course being decided. If you think of the boat, I always like to think of the boat as life, and what happens is how we're going to steer ourselves through it. We're going to have to steer ourselves through this change. So next card I'd like please to go over the top of the Hierophant. So what's the message for the Hierophant?